I'm George Wrighster. He's Ralph Amsden. This is the College Football Apostles. And you can catch me on CW, Heisman voter, former college football player, NFL player, and college football analyst, as I just told you. And we got our registered Rain Man here, man who comes with all the knowledge, prep stuff, all the outside the box things that you actually need to know. We got to talk to you today about Brian Kelly. He's like, give me all my monies. Mack Rhoades gets kicked out of the CFP despite he's saying, I did it on my own. Give you my Heisman top five. Kirk Herbstreit is trying to go full Joe Klatt / Pat McAfee. The ACC doomsday scenario. Michigan State vacates wins and changes quarterbacks. The NCAA is paying out another $300 million. And terrorist threats against Louisville. Yeah, and a whole bunch more. So we will start where we always start. But first, make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend about the show, and most importantly, share. We're almost at 25,000 subscribers, and it is thanks to you. And we will continue to grow onward and upward, Ralph. So, what was your biggest takeaway from last week?
My biggest takeaway from last week is that Kirk Herbstreit must not hang out on Twitter. That was it. Like, somebody else must be running his stuff. Well, he published like a nice little soliloquy about Lubbock because College Game Day went to Lubbock for their game against previously undefeated BYU. And, he fell in love. He said Lubbock is everything that's right with America. Texas Tech fans are everything that's right with college football. Send your kid to Lubbock. It's, they love America. They love football. It gives you optimism for the next generation. Kind of felt a little bit like coded language of like, hey, there just weren't a lot of purple-haired nose piercings around. But, my immediate thought was, because my experience in the Big 12 is limited to the last 2 years. I've always thought Texas Tech was cool as hell. I had a poster of Darvin Ham shattering a backboard on my wall when I was young. Like my kids love Texas Tech basketball. I've been to Lubbock to cover games, and I've always thought, I loved Mahomes when he was in college. I've always thought that Texas Tech was cool. But in the last 2 years, I've got to experience what being in a conference with their fans is like, and it's miserable. They're miserable.
See, I haven't had any negative No, actually, that's not true. I haven't had a ton of experiences with Texas Tech folks, but the one or two that I've had. Remember last year I said coaches that are when we made the video, coaches under the most pressure, and Joey McGuire was on there, and their fans were like, "What are you talking about? There's no pressure for Joey McGuire." It's like, of course there's pressure. I didn't say he was on the hot seat, but he was under significant pressure because so many resources are being poured into Texas Tech. And if you pour resources, there are going to be expectations. It's the same reason. It's the exact reason why Brian Kelly got fired at LSU. The same reason why James Franklin got fired at Penn State and Brent Pry at Virginia Tech. It's the expectations that weren't met. Now, granted, on a whole nother note, my biggest takeaway from this last weekend was when Penn State almost beat Indiana. People are no longer giving Oregon credit for that Penn State win, but they'll some kind of way want to give credit for like South Carolina and Florida wins to the SEC, which is weird because it's literally the same win. A very talented team without a quarterback and without a head coach. But is that Penn State, if they didn't put all their hopes and dreams into beating Oregon, they would still be right now. They would be 7-2 competing for a college football playoff spot.
You think so?
Yes.
I don't know if I agree with that because I mean I'm old enough to remember 2 months ago when you said that you didn't think Penn State was very good, but um, you said Penn State was good and then you watched them play and you were like good and terrible. Like there's
Because
some
it is there,
significant
and I
issues.
figured it out. It is Andy Kotelnicki. It is their offensive coordinator. That is the problem. It wasn't James Franklin. Well, I mean, it was James Franklin's fault for hiring him and then allowing him to do the same thing. But after last year, he should have been like, no, 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 we're not going with this trick dick stuff no more. Like we're and people were like, well, the offense worked at Kansas. Correct. You need an offense, a tricky offense to work and win against Oklahoma and Texas in the Big 12 and Kansas State in the Big 12. Like you need something tricky. It's just like Mississippi State under Mike Leach running the air raid and what they run now, an up tempo, fast paced kind of air raid thing. It is a gimmick offense to help, or just like the triple option at Navy and Air Force. Those are gimmick offenses to help nerf the talent disparity between teams. And when you get to Penn State, you get to LSU, you get to Oregon, you get to Alabama, your talent is so much better. You don't have to rely on gimmicks and trying to like trick people all the time. Because Penn State against Indiana, they lost that game on their last drive when they just essentially quit on the drive and just were like, we're gonna run and punt. And then they Indiana drove down instead of really trying to get a first down. And on that third down play, they lined up in an unbalanced look, but put the tight end at where the right tackle would be, and then flopped over all the linemen and tight ends, hoping that Indiana would then drop the tight end and think he was the tackle, and it didn't work.
Right.
Just line up, spread them out like you would do on third and long and normal, or throw it on second down and be aggressive trying to get the first down. But instead, ooh, I got this trick play in my back pocket to work right now. No.
I feel you. I think that the spread option that what was that Art Briles and Rich Rod, right, kind of brought that brought as much parity to college football as the you know house settlement will. And so it and you and I have talked about this a lot. There are teams that have to run it because you can't just line up and trade punches with
Yep.
somebody. These teams are going to lean on you. They're going to choke you out, and that's what we saw. I think that's what was so impressive about what Texas Tech did against BYU is for the longest time they were running the spread so that they could keep up because they couldn't stop anybody. Well, now they can stop you and they can lean on you, and Cameron Dickey can run the ball, and David Bailey uh, and Romello Heights will punish you for hanging out in the pocket. They got a little bit of everything, and now they act like one of the big boys, and their fans seem to think that they've always been one of the big boys. And so I'm not actively rooting against Texas Tech at this time, but I will say that I have been messaged by Baylor fans, TCU fans, Texas fans, Texas A&M fans saying, "Welcome to the party." Um, and now we're stuck dealing with these people because they're good. Texas Tech football is really really good, and so either their fans are going to not be insecure and find their place, or they're going to continue to be a bunch of yellow jackets just stinging everybody in their orbit. And I do. This is a message to Texas Tech fans. I appreciate you congratulating Arizona State on their Super Bowl because they rushed the field when beating you, but you don't get to use that anymore if you rush the field after beating BYU. So congratulations on your Super Bowl. I guess we both have
Wow.
Super Bowls now.
I see what you did right there. I see what you did right there.
Let's get into today's top story. The first and foremost, what I want to get from you is I would love to get your top five right now for the Heisman. If it was today, who the five players would be that would be sharing a stage from which one winner would be picked.
Okay. My Heisman top five right now. And as a Heisman voter, I can't tell you who I'm voting for, but I will tell you the five people who are most impressive to me at this point in time. Let's go with Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame. Think he has been impressive. He's carried the team on some level. Ralph hates this, but I've just loved the way the kid has played. He's been good in the pass game and the run game. I like what Julian Sayin is doing over at Ohio State. I am also concerned about voting him the Heisman winner only because he's got an embarrassment of riches around him. And it feels like that they would have the same. So let's say that he's a 9.5 out of 10, right? It feels like they would have the same record if he were an 8 out of 10. And that's the part, like, it doesn't feel like there's a significant elevation. Like, if you stick Will Howard in this offense, it's going to be the same thing. Like, it doesn't feel like that he is the reason why this is happening for them. I got to put Fernando Mendoza in there. I think his efficiency and just absolute, I mean, he's been incredible. He has been incredible, but people think he's been throwing for 300 yards a game. He only has one 300-yard passing game this season, but he has been efficient. He has been accurate. He's been timely. He had a Heisman moment in the comeback versus Penn State. Love all of those things. And yeah, so he's got to be on there. Haynes King. Oh, I can't say enough about Haynes King. When you talk about carrying a football team, literally, he is their leading rusher and their leading passer. And remember, quarterbacks get docked for rushing yards for sacks. So, so, so he is still by far their leading rusher, and and he's getting sack yards taken against him. So yeah, so him, and then probably fifth, I would probably put. Mm, I know that this is gonna sound like weird to people. I want to go with two players, right? I want to go with Darian Mensah from Duke because he has been outstanding. I know it has
He's been
his
really
team
good.
is only 5-4 right now, but he has been outstanding. And my last one would be Brandon Finney from Oregon. True freshman, corner. He's probably going to be an All American, not a freshman All American, but an actual All American as a freshman. Pretty incredible. Like, he has taken this, like, he is the reason why Oregon's defense is number one against the pass, because since game one, damn near, they have left him on an island. He's on an island, and they are just playing with, and they're playing 9 on 10 for the rest of the field. They're leaving this true freshman alone with everybody. Highly impressive. I want to see him versus Jeremiah Smith is what I really want to see.
I agree with a couple of yours. I think you got to keep Mendoza in there. I would kick out Jeremiah Love. I just let him have one of those big games against somebody who matters. Let him do it once, and it maybe Pitt. I don't think Pitt is enough, and we'll get to that. But like, maybe for me, he's not. He's not in the conversation right now.
Okay.
But I would have Ty Simpson over Julian Sayin. Um, he is turned the ball over once,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I definitely
his
should have
his
put
stinker
Ty Simpson in there too.
his stinker against Florida State was 10 times better than Julian Sayin's stinker against Texas. And so that's That's why I would have him, and then I would have.
And
If you're
Alabama
not
has
gonna,
no run game.
none,
Alabama threw.
zero.
No, I'm dead serious,
They're
bro.
terrible. They're awful.
Dude, Alabama right now they are 8-1. So they played 9 games. In 9 games, Ralph, what would be a terrible amount of yards for Alabama to have rushed for total on the entire season? This is garbage time included. Every single rush yard added up. What would be a terrible number?
You mean the team that got Heisman's for Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram? I would
Yep.
say 1,500 yards. Anything below 1,500 yards would be alarming.
1,500 would be 50% more than what they have right now. They have 1,007 total rushing yards. 1,007.
I don't want to give you PTSD, but do you know who this team reminds me of?
Who?
2023 Washington.
Oh, that's not going to give me PTSD because Oregon's pass defense is better. I want to play Alabama. Please let us play Alabama.
But I'm saying like what the one time Washington was able to run the ball was the Pac-12 championship.
Oh
like
my
the
God,
one time
yes.
all year.
You
But
are
and the other one I would throw,
right.
I would say you're probably not going to give a Heisman to a linebacker. Jacob Rodriguez maybe deserves a mention, but I would kick Jeremiah Love into the sun and add David Bailey. Like that's to me. And maybe they should come up with like
you said kick him to the sun and add who?
David Bailey.
Oh, okay.
Leading the nation,
in
leading
sacks.
the Big 12 in tackles for loss, leading the nation in sacks. And maybe there needs to be like a purchase of the year Heisman. You got bought off somebody else's team.
Transfer of the year.
Yeah, and I think I might have on this show, I might have said that Texas Tech overpaid for David Bailey because it was a scarcity thing. It was like the end of an auction fantasy draft when you got $50 left, so why not use it on a kicker? Because it was a deflated market where only Bear Bachmeier, David Bailey, and like one receiver went onto the transfer portal because they fired Troy Taylor, and so you end up bidding against everyone in the country to get him to Texas Tech. And at the time I was like, okay, yeah, so a DN got $2.5 million, but that doesn't mean he's worth $2.5 million. I would just like to say something to that man who said that, me, from 2.5 months ago. You're a moron. You're a literal moron. David Bailey's worth twice that.
Oh, dude, he is worth every dollar in the bank right now.
Question though, he's got a 2-year deal. Do you stay if you're him?
Depends. Am I going to be a top 32 pick? If so, sayonara. Sayonara.
Oh, I'm looking at it now, and this is actually his 4th year, so he's gone. And that brings us to our next thing. Who would you're a top 5, you got a top 5 NFL draft pick. We've done plenty of NFL stuff for Unafraid Show, almost all college football in the last year. But what are you looking at to make are you buying into the Fernando Mendoza number 1 overall pick hype?
I'm not drafting none of these quarterbacks with number 1 overall pick. But I pretty much only see probably one first rounder for sure. What I'm looking at in terms of who should come out, because people are going to try to, and that one first round pick right now is Fernando Mendoza. That is a clear cut. He's got the amount of starts. Winning percentage is just constantly climbing because he's gotten competent. He's been in a competent situation. Instead of being over there,
personality. I think he can handle the.
Yes, he's made big throws. He's won. He's played in big games, been coached up. All of those things. Love him. Lenore Sellers. Stay in school, kid. Stay in school. Fool's errand to go out right now. You are Anthony Richardson 2.0 if you go out of school. Dante Moore. Stay in school, kid.
For sure.
You have every single ounce of bit of talent in the world. He'll be in a situation where he will, like, his skill set Like he's not going to have a Garrett Nussmeier type season where it falls apart. It's just not going to happen because he's too good to do that. And he's playing on a good football team. So
There's
he
some
needs to.
people who think that your boy is a top 5 pick, though.
Who, Dante?
Yeah, there's some people who think
Yeah.
that
No,
if
I think he
everybody
would
came
be.
out, Dante, Ty Simpson, and Fernando Mendoza would be amongst the top 5 picks.
They
I don't
both.
think that's a good idea right now.
Ty Simpson, same way. Stay in school, kid. It is that history says that people who have won the Super Bowl have at least 30 starts in college. They have I believe in the Bill Parcells model. It just has worked.
Mm-hmm.
Have more starts, have a good winning percentage. You know, all of these things, they matter. And Jaden my Via, stay in school, kid. All of these kids need to stay in school. Now, I will say though that I do like for instance, people are all over Joey Aguilar. Joey Aguilar is not. He's like an NFL backup, like for a couple of years, but that's about it. But on a side note, remember I just made the short about Miami and them talking about that they are going to go all in for a quarterback this year in the transfer
Mm-hmm.
portal. Not like they didn't last year and the year before that, but
Right.
what did you think about the quarterbacks that I named that they should hey big head tap in on? I said Josh Hoover over at
Mm-hmm.
um, over at TCU, Drew
Right.
Mestamaker at North Texas, Darian Mensah at Duke, um, Demond Williams at Washington. Um, Jaron Kiwi Sagapuatelli at Cal. And it was one more. Damn it. But yeah, but those dudes. Those are the ones that
Yeah,
I
I
think that
mean,
they should check in and see, like, hey, bro, you good?
they'd have to pay more than $4 million that Darian Mensah's getting, and they've already
Desperate times call
dedicated
for
two and a
desperate
half
measures.
million. Yeah, they've already dedicated $2.5 million to a freshman left tackle. So we'll see. We'll see.
Bring out the
It's
money printer.
$100,000 a year to go
Bring
to
out the
school at
money
Miami.
printer.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm genuinely with you on quarterbacks should consider taking the money to stay in college. It's going to be tempting to come out, but this NFL draft is so deeply stocked with defensive talent and offensive line talent, and even the receivers are better than people thought. So if you're an NFL team, you actually want to hit on some of these picks. Maybe you stay away from quarterback altogether. So we'll see what ends up happening. But as far as Miami goes, I heard Sam Levitt's super hurt. So just maybe move on from that. Don't consider Sam Levitt. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
I'm lying, by the
because
way.
he
I'm
has
just
a
trying to.
chance to. I mean, he's another kid. Stay in school. He needs to stay in school. He's gotten better than last year. But people would say, "Oh, he regressed." No, he hasn't. He was dealing with a different set of circumstances, which is exactly what quarterbacks need. Last
Yeah.
year was lightning in a bottle, magic, Cam Scatterboo, all of this stuff. So this year, he had to take more of a different role and responsibility and find new ways to win. Got hurt, tried to battle through all of those things. And now you get to come back for another year and be great.
What about Nico?
Oh,
You
I
think
would
he'd leave
definitely check
UCLA
up.
to go
I
to
would
Miami?
definitely check
Yeah.
in on Nico, but I believe that Nico's brand is better served by staying at UCLA because he's been
Yeah.
like people are like they don't realize he's actually been pretty damn good after after the change in leadership.
I agree with you. It's just going to be, Dad, you got to make people say no. That's what you got to do. You got to throw that money out there and see
Yep.
if people are going to say no. And the quarterback movement last year was crazy. It's probably going to be crazy again this year. Let's get into what the F is going on with Baylor athletic director Mack Rhoades, who has
Oh my
stepped
God.
away for personal reasons to a matter that is somehow unrelated to the other thing that he was just in trouble for. So to catch people up on this, Mack Rhoades is the athletic director of Baylor. He is also the head of the college football playoff selection committee, or
Was.
was. Uh, before the Arizona State game, which was played at home in Waco, he approached Michael Trigg, a very, very talented tight end, who used to be at Ole Miss or USC? He's been
USC.
around. Okay, so yeah, Michael Trigg been having a fantastic year. He had an issue with something Michael Trigg was wearing, got in his face, and they
It was a
had to be
long.
separated.
Yes. So I'll interject here for 1 second, then you can finish. So
Sure.
under his jersey, he had on a yellow. Baylor's colors are green, yellow, and white. He had a long, uh, a baggy long sleeve on. He didn't have a tight one on. Had a baggy, and he was actually it was baggy and all that because he was hiding a brace underneath. But it doesn't matter. Why would the athletic director then grab you and be like, "What the f do you have on, bro? This is a football game. Mind your own damn business." Like, why is the athletic director getting involved in a player's uniform? It'd be different if
I
he
have
had
no
on a.
idea.
It'd be different if he had on a purple undershirt. It wouldn't even matter. Go talk to the equipment manager, talk to a coach, and have them talk to him. Don't talk to the player on game day. Of course, when you're walking around the building and all of that kind of stuff, that's different. But on the field, that is not your domain.
So this is a tweet from Adam Ritterberg, who works for ESPN. Baylor confirms to ESPN that it received allegations involving Mack Rhoades on November 10th. These do not involve Title IX, student welfare, or NCAA rules, and do not involve the football program. So this is a separate from the previously reported Michael Trigg incident. The speculation on this is wild because he looks like at times with the way that he dresses and his hair, and at times he looks like a somebody who walked into the club at 21 and walked out at 45. Like he just
What?
he just I don't know. I don't know how to explain it other than that. Like he's obviously older than 45, but he looks a little worn out lately. And that's not me speculating, that's me observing
So
that
I don't
he
even.
looks like he's been burning the candle at adding ends to the candle to burn it at 5 ends.
I don't. So I would have thought that the Michael Trigg thing, and he got into it with an assistant coach too, on the same day. I thought that would have been enough to get him uh, at least suspended, right? But Baylor essentially covered it up or glossed over it because they initially tried to get the player and the assistant coach to apologize to the athletic director. And then it became clear from video evidence and all of that stuff that the apologies were actually needed the other way. So they tried to make this seem like it was no big deal when it was a big deal. I'm not saying the man should have been fired, but he definitely damn sure should have been reprimanded in some public way because if you do something in public, like the public should have some idea of what's happening and not just a hey, we handled this internally. And now a separate thing. We don't know what this could be. They just said it has nothing to do with Title IX. This has nothing to do with the other incident. So, and remember, he said, "It's me. I chose to take this leave of absence. They didn't make me do it. I chose to do this." And then that gets you to thinking, why would you voluntarily take a leave of absence when an investigation is popping up? Hmm. Hmm. That can be a way to save your job, but just
Yeah,
just
there
just
are
noting what other people have done and not what he is doing.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody here is gainfully employed, I'm sure you're aware of what short-term disability and FMLA can do for you in a pinch. Um, that's all I'm gonna say about that. So best of luck to Baylor as they move forward, and the college football playoff committee. I don't necessarily know what they're going to do. The recommendation is Mark Harlan stepping in, which is
Is that
swapping out
Utah's?
one University of Arizona alum
Oh
for
yeah,
another.
yeah, and they have recommended Utah's AD as well. I
That's
like
yeah, that's Mark
Utah's
Harlan. Yeah,
AD. Yeah, got no problem there. But the question is, should athletic directors even be on the college football playoff committee?
that's a
That's
great
the,
question.
because we've talked about this with AP voters, because I believe AP voters are great people trying to do their best, but they're the vast majority of them, outside of like Reese Davis and Kevin Carter, the vast majority of them, overwhelming majority of them, are beat writers. So a beat writer's day on college football, you're at the stadium
Full.
for at least 4 hours minimum. So you got an hour before the game starts at a minimum, and then the 3 hour game. Then you got to have a story in immediate, like 5 minutes after the game is over with. Then
Then you
you
got
got
to
to
go
go
to
to
the
the prep.
press. Yep.
Yep, then you got to go to the press conference, write another story. So when have you had? That's at minimum 6, 7 hours out of your day, and then you
And
got
then
to
your
drive
boat is
somewhere.
due bright and early in the morning.
Yes. So when have you had time to watch other college football games to rank them? You haven't. So how can you properly be doing a like like you can be doing your best, but how can you be doing a good job at this when the time that you have to do your job is minimal? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you even talk about this, George. Like it's been very, very cool for you to be in the CW studio show this year, but on or especially if you travel to a game in person. So like Oregon, Ohio State last year when you're down on the sideline during the
You
game.
can't watch any, dude. I can barely watch anything. When I went to the Oregon Indiana game this year, I was like binge watching all night to try to
Yeah,
catch up.
you called me. You're like, I feel stupid.
Yeah,
And like that's what beat writers are dealing with. This is the one area of life where I would say like, man, we got to turn this thing over to the addicts. We got to turn
yeah.
these boats over to the sickos.
We gotta turn it over to the sickos. The sickos are ready. Your boy is ready.
I didn't plan on asking you this question, but would you be? Oh, and because I know the BCS ruined the end of your college football career. Would you be open to bringing back the BCS if it wasn't about finding the top two teams, but instead the top 12?
No, nope, no, no, no. I am anti BCS. But I did hear an interesting thought process is that if I bet you there are some people that are smart enough to come up with metrics like a point system metric for scheduling Power 4 games in the non-conference.
Mm.
So obviously, like Oregon had Oklahoma State this year. There's nothing you can like. They scheduled Oklahoma State when Oklahoma State was good. So, and the idea that then if you finish in first place one year, you play a first place schedule the next year. So
NFL
Ohio
style.
State would have had a harder schedule this year comparatively to to who finished last in the big in the then
Purdue.
yeah than Purdue would. So Purdue would
So
get an
you're saying like bowl matchups? So like how a bowl matchup could be like the number 5 Big Ten team against the number 6 SEC team in the ReliaQuest Bowl in Tampa, but that would actually govern who you play the next year in non-con.
yes, yes,
That'd be cool.
yep,
That'd be very cool.
and for the playoff rankings having some sort of point system where you get credit for scheduling better, for scheduling more Power Four games. So, like, maybe you get 3, 4, 5 points, like a minimum of 3 points. And then if this team ends up ranked in the top 25, when the playoff rankings come out, then that's a 4 point. Top 10, a 5 point. And then those count as bonus points essentially so then people are rewarded for that.
George, I have a question for you. How much fun must it be right now to be Brian Kelly's lawyer?
All you need, oh my God, it's amazing. You're getting billable hours, and all you need, and you only need 2 letters. No.
Oh, F you.
yeah, that will work too. Yes. So you need 4 letters. NO period FU. That's it.
Oh my God. So to catch
Oh,
anybody up, I
side
mean,
note,
we're late on this. We're later than everybody else on this.
Thamel just tweeted out Rick George is out at Colorado. He's retiring today. Their athletic director. We knew it was coming. It was just a matter of when.
Yeah, let's get to that in a minute. Let's get to that because that could have quite a few
Yes.
ripple effects. But so Brian Kelly is owed technically $54 million. The way that these buyouts work is getting people to, kind of like the lottery, agree to a lump sum up front to forgive the full amount that you're contractually obligated to. Brian Kelly has reportedly turned down offers of 15 and 25 million to settle. And so LSU decided to play a little chicken with him and say, well, technically we haven't actually fired you yet and you haven't been showing up to work. So what if we just fired you for cause? And what they're trying to do, they're trying to strong arm him into taking one of these numbers that they've already
not gonna work,
put
buddy.
out there.
You sat me down and you told me I was out. And LSU is trying to say, well, the person that told you that didn't actually have the authority to fire you. So then why has nobody called me and told me to show back up to work? Because I guarantee that if they asked Brian Kelly, if they were like, you're not fired, you need to show up here every single day. Like one of them FAU contracts. Where they send you out to the janitor. Do you not think that Brian Kelly would keep showing up until he got his $54 million? And mind you, this lets me know that Brian Kelly has zero intentions on coaching again. Or people have zero intentions on hiring Brian Kelly right now. Think about this. Brian Kelly's owed $54 million until 2031, I believe, right? Until January 2030. December 31st, 2020, 2030. So, and in equal installments over there of almost $800,000 a month. So, if he were going, and mind you, he's got offset language. So if he goes to go get a new job, let's say that job paid him half of what he's getting paid, then LSU would owe him the additional $400,000 a month until that is done, right? So my question to you is, Ralph, tell me if this makes sense. I don't believe Brian Kelly has, and how old is he? Has intentions on coaching again, or somebody really even wants to hire him. Because if you're Brian Kelly and you know somebody wants to hire you, let's say Arkansas wants to give you the job now at $7 million, three less than you were making. Over the next 3 years, over the next 4 years, 5 years, that is $20 million. I'm sorry, that's $15 million less that LSU would have to pay you. So why would you not take a buyout for $25 million and be 10 million on the plus side? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So or if you were getting another job and they were going to pay, $8 million to you. Why would you not take a $25 million buyout if you knew that you were going to take another job that was going to pay you this? Because, they've been trying to backdoor, not backdoor, they've been trying to hire James Frank. Places have been trying to hire James Franklin already. They've been trying to hire, other coaches already. So he has an idea of what the market is like for him right now. So either the market is really weak or he has no intentions on coaching again. What do you think about that premise?
I think you might be right. I mean, we just watched Craig Bowl hit 65 and be like, well, that's my time. I'm 65. That's when people retire. And he went to be head of the American Football Coaches Association. Brian Kelly's 64. He just turned 64. So maybe he wants to enjoy the rest of his days with his family. What's your number? What's your number if you're Brian Kelly and you don't plan on coaching again?
There is no number. The number is 54. If I don't plan on coaching again, the number is 54.
But to have it now, right? It's JG Wentworth. It's my money and I want it now.
43 and a half.
43 and a half. So you say 80%. I would say 2/3. Give me 35 mil. Give me 35 mil, and I will pull a coach.
See, you got to remember you're disgruntled too.
Give me 38 million.
So you see what I'm saying? That there's a pride factor factored into it too.
Give me some box seats so I can still show my face. Yeah, I mean, there is certainly a pride factor, but he seems to have been open to the idea of a settlement, and so I think that's
they probably had some weird terms in there, like still having an offset or something like that. No. If you want to buy out, ain't no offset.
I'm just in love with the idea that this would enter some type of arbitration or court hearing, and Brian Kelly's lawyer would get to walk in and just push play on a tape of the governor talking about Brian Kelly getting fired as a rebuttal to LSU saying that he wasn't fired. Oh, Judge, I love it.
What are we doing here?
Let's skip the next thing that we have on the docket and talk about Rick George.
Okay.
So Rick George, been an AD all over the place. Finished at Colorado, changed the landscape, shook things up by hiring Deion Sanders. The two of them as a team put Colorado back on the map. He made way more than enough money to pay for himself there with what Nike was able to do alongside Deion Sanders and everything. I don't care how much they lose. It's been a net positive for Colorado based on what they were going through. Not a lot of people are aware of what the situation that Colorado was in.
They were in a pickle,
bro. And so do you think that this means that it's the end of the Deion Sanders era?
Okay, so this is going to come down to money too, right? So this is going to come down to money too, because Colorado's not firing Deion. They're not paying whatever that buyout is. He's making $10 million a year now, essentially. So no, I do not see a world where they fire Deion Sanders, but Deion Sanders' health situation could factor into this, but that's a lot of money to just walk away. That could enter a buyout situation.
Yeah. Do you think it makes Deion want to look elsewhere? Because there are jobs open, and there are jobs who would look at what Deion Sanders has done on the field and say, man, we give him the right resources, he's going to bring us the bright lights. We can probably figure it out. We just got to put some guardrails in place so that he can't dump his offensive coordinator every 15 seconds or have Warren Sapp out there in workout clothes kicking cones over.
Okay, so if this was 2 years ago when I said this, and I still stand by what I said 2 years ago about Deion Sanders. I like Deion Sanders. I love that he tries to groom men. I think that he is well-intentioned. I think he's actually overall a good football coach. I believe his kryptonite, which is the thing that allows you to not be successful in college football at a high level. He does not want to recruit high school at a high level. He doesn't want to go to do home visits. He doesn't do home visits. All that, like, you got to come to Colorado. All that. That's not you're not gonna, like, you got to be beating the trail up on some level. And yes, you can go less than other people can go and just show up, and that has so much more of an impact. But he tried to say, well, if I go to one school and don't go to another school, nah, bro. If Dan Lanning, Kirby Smart, Marcus Freeman, all of these dudes are and Nick Saban when he was coaching, Ryan Day, if they beating up this trail, you got to beat up the trail. That's the way to do it. So I can't in good conscience hire Deion Sanders unless he's going, if he going to get out on the road recruiting. I would 100% hire Deion Sanders. If he is not, no way.
I'll give you a school where I think what he's doing now could work. In a region that he's very familiar with, at a school where he could certainly be himself. They haven't fired their coach yet, but tick-tock, tick-tock. Baylor.
You might be on to something. You might be on to something. And that begs the question of, I mean, how many more jobs are going to come open this year? That's the thing I don't think that people are really equating, because we already got a bunch of jobs open. What do we have, like 9 or 11 Power 4 jobs open? You could
Plus the
have
little guys haven't fired who they're going to fire yet outside of Colorado State.
Yeah.
And Oregon
And
State.
okay, so I'm going to throw a few names out for you. Michigan State. Could they be looking for a new coach?
They could. Oh, so let's do it this way, George. Are they more likely to go Wisconsin's route and fold, not participate in this hiring cycle, or open up?
Hope is being lost quickly. Okay. They are 0-6 in the Big Ten. 0-6. This is a step in the wrong direction. They still got Penn State, Iowa, and Maryland left. If they finish 3-9, which is possible, I think the Maryland game is going to mean more than anything else. Okay. So if they lose, if they finish 3-9, I think he's out. I don't think that you can, like, believe that the future is brighter. At least at Wisconsin, like, you're putting up a defense that is just, like, formidable. Like, you can see that things are going, and you just beat Washington. Like, there is hope that can work in resourcing Luke Fickell, that can work. There's a reasonable belief that can work. I don't think that you can reasonably believe that it is going to work right now at Michigan State. NC State with Dave Dorn. They just beat Georgia Tech, so that's going to go a long way. They still got Miami, Florida State, and North Carolina. These are technically 3 winnable games. If you win, if he beats either Miami or Florida State, well, actually, he's got to beat North Carolina, I think, and then he's got to beat either Florida State or Miami. If he does that, I think he's safe for this year, which will put him at 7 and what are they right now? That'll put him at 7-5 if they go 2-3 in the next, which you can stick
which is a
around
very
for that.
NC State season, hanging out in El Paso at the Sun Bowl type season for
Yes.
NC State.
And then you got Florida State. They got Virginia Tech, NC State, and Florida. If they lose to Florida, he's out of there. There's no way. There's no way that you can believe that there is where he said he's gonna win national championships. You can't even believe that anymore. So you got that. Do you think that there's any chance that Boston College opens?
No, I don't. But I wouldn't put it past Bill O'Brien to be on the phone with the Boras or trying to convince the whoever gets the Giants job to maybe bring him in as OC or something like that.
Okay.
I would like to see him level Boston College up, but they suck.
Yes.
They're terrible.
How about Baylor? They're 4-5 right. No, they're 5-4 right now. They got Utah, Arizona, and Houston left. They could go 0-3, which will put him at 5-7.
That's a definite, but I think they're also possibly in danger if they go 6-6. I want to pull something up real quick just to search. It's their defensive rankings, George, because you and I talk about this all the time.
Yes.
That's supposed to be his job.
Correct.
Would you venture to guess where Baylor is currently ranked in points allowed per game?
Considering that Sawyer Robertson has almost 3,000 yards passing and a lot of touchdowns, I'm gonna go with in terms of yards allowed.
Yeah, their defense, because Dave Aranda's the defensive guy, right?
108th.
You got within 10 spots. They are 100th. What about total offense? So yards allowed.
Yards allowed?
Yeah, where would be acceptable if you're Dave Aranda, if you're a defensive guy, you want to retain
40. Top 40.
They are 86th. They're 86th and 100th in the two most important defensive categories. So what are you doing? You might as well at this point just elevate your OC.
Yeah. And does Mike Locksley, does he make it at Maryland?
He's another guy that I root for, but he's always kind of complaining, and they start hot and then they just bottom out. I mean, it isn't working. It hasn't worked. I would move on, but you have to take the hiring cycle into account, which Wisconsin did. And it's very strange how everybody went from like, man, Luke Fickell just didn't get it done at Wisconsin to then Wisconsin was brave enough to say one more year. I feel like the college football community was like, good call. Like J. Cole jumping out of the beef between Kendrick and Drake.
Okay,
like, hey, yeah, you're definitely not a winner, but you're not as big of a loser as you could be if you tried to get in on this hiring cycle.
Okay, I got one more name for you.
Okay.
This coach has lost 4 games in a row and 6 out of his last 7. But in the beginning of the season, his name was being floated about for another job. He was lost 6 of the last 7.
Mm-hmm.
He beat the team in the first game of the season that he was rumored to take their job.
Maybe Dabo because they lost. Beat the team in the first game of the season that he was rumored to take their job.
Uh-huh.
You lost me.
And people are still calling when they beat his team a tough win.
I don't know. Who is it?
Shane Beamer, South Carolina.
Oh.
They still have Texas A&M left, which they're going to lose that game this weekend. They're going to beat Coastal Carolina, probably. And then they play Clemson. If they lose to Texas A&M and Clemson, that'll put them at 4-8 with an awful offense. They got to give
people
them another.
saying that they should go to the college football playoff and with him being rumored to be attached to Virginia Tech, and also with Shane Beamer out here saying I didn't mess up hiring my coordinators. Like, yeah, dude, your coordinator that you lost to Nebraska was even worse than the one you have now. So,
Yes.
and Nebraska had to admit it by demoting him to tight ends coach.
Yes.
Man,
That's what I'm saying,
yeah.
bro. This hiring cycle's getting crazy. So imagine how many schools are going to lose their coordinators, are going to lose their head coaches. Yeah, and we're not even talking about the G6 teams that are going to fire their coaches.
Or lose them to the Sumralls and the Silverfields to potentially upgrading their gigs if you consider Silverfield leaving the comfort of FedEx and Memphis even an upgrade. So
Yep.
I can't wait to see where all the chips land, and I'm amongst the people looking at Wisconsin right now saying like, you know what, maybe you're the smart one.
Yes,
For
dude. And
punting.
the crazy part is that Oregon State they want to fire their interim head coach, which is crazy because they lost to Sam Houston State,
who was winless, right?
Yes.
They hadn't, yeah.
Yes,
Oh
because
man,
I did the pregame for that show last week, and we were like, when we were in the meetings, we were like, "Yo, there's no real reason to cover Sam Houston State. Like, let's talk about Oregon State. Blah blah blah." Well,
whoops.
whoopsies. And
Oh my
that got
gosh.
us to, and I asked you earlier if Jim Mora if UCLA should hire Jim Mora out of the independents, but that's a whole nother story.
I mean, it's funny because I'm still on like, would you bring? We at some point we're gonna have to talk about 1 year rentals, because I'm kind of getting obsessed with this idea of like hiring a coach for a year because Stanford set the precedent, right? Could LSU do 1 year of Nick Saban? Could UCLA do 1 year of Rick Neuheisel while they position themselves to do whatever they're going to do next because of the transfer portal? Would it be acceptable? And that the check's going to clear either way that you get from the conference, and it would be a big story. Like everybody would be talking about it because they know it's temporary. So I wonder if we're going to enter into an age of, hey, we want our coaching search to take a little longer than just be within this hiring cycle. So we're going to do a
Well, you
1
better
year
hurry
deal.
up because we are what 18, 19, 20, 21 days from signing day.
All
Them
right, well, let's
moving it up to the beginning of the month that favors stability.
If high school coaches or if high school players just collectively don't sign, so that you're still available past signing day, like that might be but they use scarcity and they use all these tactics to get people signed on as quickly as possible, and I understand why they do it. But yeah, the timing of the college football season continues to be a thorn in everybody's side. Let's talk a couple of ACC topics before we get into Wrighster or wrong, one of which is the ACC doomsday scenario for Duke. Duke could go 8-4. It's a legitimate possibility, and if they do, they have an opportunity to win the ACC and have the ACC completely excluded from the college football playoff. I want to say I would think that Jim Phillips thinks that this is the nightmare scenario, the ACC commissioner, but he made some comments at ACC Media Day about like, hey, anything bad that happens to us is our fault. So who knows how he actually feels about
Nah,
any of
you don't
this.
want to get left out of college football playoff. That's too much money. Like that's literally that's losing so much money for your institutions that can't be a thing.
Yeah, so here's the scenario. 9-4 Duke that has lost to UConn and Tulane, either making the college football playoff or being excluded completely. So you got to win out, you got to beat Virginia. Georgia Tech would have to lose to Pitt, and Louisville would have to beat SMU. Those are both very possible. All of this is completely possible. And then it doesn't even matter what happens at Miami and Pitt on November 29th, because Duke would be in the ACC championship game where they just have to win.
Bro, that would be the biggest slap and FU in the face for two G6 programs to get in. over a P4, that would be disgusting. Like that
And all
would
these
be
G6s are going to be 2-loss teams.
that would be bad, bro. I gotta be honest. That I can't even stand for that. I can't stand for that. There's no, that's too much. That's too much. Without the risk of turning in the fine bomb, that feels outrageous.
You
I
mean
mean,
Feinbaum, the senator?
that's gonna make negotiate just the fact that this is even a topic for conversation is gonna make a new college, even though the Big Ten and the SEC get to choose, which was stupid anyway, but is gonna make the new college football format absolutely no chance anybody agrees on it now.
Oh, so last ACC topic, uh, which somehow involves Baylor because of why not? A man by the name of Brian Mandel, Baylor
Okay.
alum, lives in Corpus Christi, Texas, has been arrested and is facing charges that he allegedly made threats against the University of Louisville football coaches and a player. Uh, Cal beat Louisville, which was a surprise. And it's very possible that this man, Brian Mandel, had a little bit of his expendable or non expendable income on that game. And he has
Mm.
been he has been accused of making threats against head coach Jeff Brohm and his wife and his two children and offensive coordinator Brian Brohm and quarterback Miller Moss. A judge set Mandel's bail at $100,000 and ordered him not to gamble until the case is resolved.
Until the
Oh, what are
case
your
is
thoughts on
resolved so we can do it again. Dude, this dude needs to be sent into what called 1-800 gambler every single day. This brings up a debate, right? So
Yeah,
so gambling has increased viewership of games, and it also has drawn many lines with people. So it's like there are some people that think gambling is bad all by itself. Then there are people that are like that the betting lines and all of that stuff are fine on gambling, and that's where they draw the line. And then now you have the prop bets. And I believe that the prop bets are a step too far. Only because of the risk it poses to the integrity of the game. I
sure.
don't think that it makes people I don't think that gambling on prop bets is any worse than gambling on like betting lines, or that's some kind of way like, oh, there's the bridge too far. I just believe that when
Yeah,
you can, so it is very difficult to fix football games, right? It's
yeah,
very difficult to fix baseball games because you got to hit the ball and it's got to hit like there's just too much. But you can fix individual pitches. You see what I'm saying? For like
yeah,
the player, like Class A and these dudes who got indicted in MLB, you can have a guy throw his first pitch for a ball.
yeah,
You can have it throw it for a strike, hopefully, but it's easier for them to throw it for a ball. And as opposed to, or a guy say, all right, I got to hit my under on rebounds today of 5. So I'll make sure I don't get 5 rebounds. I can ensure that I don't get 5 rebounds. I will stay at 3, and then anything else I'll let somebody else get, and I got a buffer of 1 rebound, and then I might have to goof one out of bounds if necessary.
yeah.
And you can do that without impacting the score in the game. So it makes it players a lot more individually susceptible, and the integrity of the game more susceptible on a smaller basis rather than the overall outcome of the game, which is much more difficult to influence.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I hate to be like a to sound like an NRA member, but like gambling doesn't threaten Louisville coaches. People threaten Louisville coaches.
Guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Yeah. So here's how I look at it, and there's a delicate balance on this because I do think that adults should be trusted with the freedom to engage in some of these vices. However, you don't know which people can't handle it until they've been put in that situation. It's kind of like drinking, right?
Yep.
You don't find out that you're not a tequila guy until you find out you're not a tequila guy, you know? And this is the cost. This is absolutely the cost. I'm not saying that it's good. I'm not saying that I agree with it or like it. And if they want to ban gambling, sure, whatever. It's not going to change my life any. But, you know, what I worry about is, okay, good. We have guardrails and consequences in place for people who do stuff like this. And some of these apps like FanDuel, DraftKings, and the like, they will, if you report back to them like, hey, X user made X threat, they'll revoke your access. So then you'll no longer have the privilege to gamble using those apps.
Yeah.
They'll lock you out permanently. And then if you want to do it, you got to go black market or find an offshore book or something like that. And so the issue is, what if the system gets overwhelmed? What if next week we have 10,000 people all threaten coaches and players? So you can't, if you overwhelm the legal system, you can't just, at some point, America is going to be 75% imprisoned people or ex-felons. Like you can't keep going at this pace. So even on a practical level, I really worry about, do we have the bandwidth to be addressing legally all of these people who are idiots? At the same time, there is a piece of me, George, and I don't know if this is the right way to think. I just know I think that way.
Okay.
There's a piece of me that watched Minority Report with the whole like pre-crime thing.
Yeah.
And
wants that to be instilled.
Yeah, because like, yeah, reveal yourselves.
Brian so Mandel, you should be thrown in jail for pre-crimes now?
What I'm saying is, if gambling didn't exist, people are going to say if gambling didn't exist, he wouldn't have had the opportunity to melt down like this. And my argument would be like
else if it was like people like that. That's the thing is that people have been gambling on things since the beginning of time.
He's a business owner. He's on the city planning commission in Corpus Christi. Like, he's an upstanding and respected member of the community. So people will blame the activity. But there's a part of me, and I don't know if it's right or wrong, where I'm like, no, he always sucked, and we always needed to find out.
Hey, so yes, because if it wasn't this, he would have crashed out over something else. Can we agree to that?
Yeah, and maybe this is what he needs. And I'm not saying like he's going to stay a piece of garbage. I'm saying like maybe this is the rock bottom that he bounces back from. But I do love that he's being held accountable, because players shouldn't be subjected to, like, if you can't handle your liquor, don't drink.
Yeah.
If you can't handle like being able to treat a woman with respect, don't have a woman in your life. If you can't not go on social media and go after a dude and his wife and his kids and his brother and his quarterback, you shouldn't be gambling. And it's a shame we have to find out this way, but like, no tears shed from me.
Yeah, but you can't ban people from gambling though. Because they will still gamble somewhere else. Like it's like prohibition.
Yeah, his personal IP or his phone, like, well, I don't know. Maybe we have phones out there that like, or anything you do involves government intervention, and I'm a little squirrely about a little bit of libertarian streak in me that doesn't necessarily want that. So yeah. I don't know what the answer is, but I'm glad that I'm glad that he's getting his comeuppance. Let's get into Wrighster or wrong. We'll make it rapid fire. Missouri coach Eli Drinkwitz says that he wants to get away from the playoff or bust mentality. George, Eli Drinkwitz is is on the short list for some of these open jobs that have nothing but a playoff or bust mentality. Do you agree or disagree with Eli Drinkwitz? Wrighster or wrong? We got to get out of this playoff or bust mentality.
He is both Wrighster and he's wrong. He's Wrighster because there are some growth stages that are real, and everybody can't make the playoff every single year. That we want, like, that you make it, miss it, make it, miss it. That way it feels special. But also, he's wrong because that's a pretty convenient conversation from a guy who hasn't made the playoff and whose people were picking to maybe backdoor into the playoff and really be good, and now they're not ranked. So, of course, that
Do you
it's
think it will
convenient for
limit?
him to say that.
Do you think he Jerry Maguired himself? Do you think it'll limit his future opportunities from schools who might be looking his way?
Yes, because people get so enamored with the actual single game results rather than overall body of work. Like, there's a lot of
Mhm.
people that can't see that Fran Brown would be a phenomenal hire at Penn State. Look at the record this year. They're not winning. There's circumstances to that. You know,
Yeah,
if
they
so,
haven't seen that freshman class at Syracuse that averages 6'6".
yes. So there's a lot that goes into it, like a lot more than just one single game. But fans get and even administrators, they let it bleed into them that one game is too important.
Next up, Wrighster wrong. My old employer, Rivals.com, now owned by On3, deleted a tweet where Adam Gorney, one of the recruiting reporters out there, West Coast guy, asked Knox Kiffin, Lane Kiffin's son, about his dad's job status, and Rivals proper was bullied into deleting the tweet that included the story. The story is still up, as is Adam Gorney's tweet about this. Adam Gorney, Wrighster or wrong for asking Knox Kiffin about his dad's job status?
What was his answer?
His answer was that he understands why people are concerned, but that's his dad's. That's just what goes along with it. Pretty mature, actually.
Oh, good job, Knox. You've been trained, son. Don't give up the goods. Either that or don't tell Knox. One of the two. If your dad, don't tell Knox to the last minute, because he could be put in a position like this, and just prep him on what to say, because you don't want your kid in a position where they have to lie for you or they're expected to speak for you. So just say, yo, direct it to me. Just tell him, like, yo, that's my dad's choice. He'll figure it out. He will make a good decision.
Any problem with the question being asked in the first
No,
place?
no. Are you? It would be wrong if he didn't get asked that question. Like,
Interesting.
hey, is there anywhere you would like to see your dad go? He can be like, no, I don't care. Like, you're giving him, like, as long as you softball it to him, like a here it comes, underhanded, and he can either turn it down or hit it out of the park.
All right, next one up. Wrighster or wrong? Catapult Sports / Exos has, and maybe you've had experience with this. I don't know. We haven't talked about it. They have a habit of giving smaller creators YouTube strikes for using game footage, and there is a mass rebellion for YouTube creators, college football, NFL, and the like, publicly fighting back against Exos for copyright striking videos that would typically fall under fair use. This may be some inside baseball that people might not be
Mm.
very interested in, but
So
it really falls into our purview of making content. Catapult seems to be at the forefront of just going around and getting people demonetized for their videos, including footage. Wrighster or wrong, the creators strike back against the strikes.
okay, so this has actually impacted me significantly, and I hate it. and not even for putting content on the channel as much because we don't play a whole lot of stuff because of that. But the biggest thing is that when you're inside of their app to watch all 22 film, you used to be able to share it. Like I used to be able to watch it on my computer. Now I can only watch it on the tablet. I can't screen record on it. I can't do anything. Like I have to do it from my computer. Like it's like I can't even do it from my computer. It's a mess. It's a mess. I can only watch film on my tablet. Like I'm on my iPad. What are we doing? I can't put it up on my big TV. It's silly. And the whole point is to grow the game. And but this is not proprietary. It's not like the creators are getting anything that and mind you, a lot of people have asked me like, gee, how did you get all 22 footage? I'm like, I get it through CW. And you're supposed to keep it tight to the vest, but it's not like every other college has access to this film. Like you don't have anything that they don't have. So they don't want their footage used unless you pay for it. I get that. But I actually just had to find a workaround to be able to show game footage on our channel now. And now we can do it. I forgot to tell you, Ralph.
Nice. I'm excited. So in the battle between the streamers and Catapult / Exos, you're a neutral party, or who you taking up arms for?
Taking up arms for the creators. What do
Let's
you mean?
go. Let's go. I
I'm
wanted to
not
get you on
fighting
record.
for the man. Hey, but the man, you do good work though.
Shout out
I
to
am
the
not
man.
against you. I'm just, I'm just pro little guy because I am little guy.
This is good. This is going to be interesting. Speaking of filming things, Wrighster or wrong, all of the people who were present for Bethune Cookman and Grambling, which means they were probably affiliated with the team in some way, either as a rooting party or a
And
parent.
are you
or
talking about
friend.
this brawl that happened?
Yeah. I'm talking about the brawl. Wrighster or wrong, the people who posted it all over social media, because you got to understand these are probably people with some relation or influence to the situation. I'm not talking about it's
No,
obviously
dude,
wrong
I got
to
no
get in a
problem with
mass
the
fist
people that
fight.
posted Wrighster. I mean, wrong, whichever way is in favor of the people who posted it. We needed to see this. This was unhinged. It was bad. But also, on a side note, I thought this was a huge stain on HBCUs. Huge.
That's what I'm saying. So let's say that George, let's say that Akwin, your oldest son, who's at UC Davis now, was playing for Inglewood. There's a huge brawl, right? What if your oldest posted it to her socials? And then now all of a sudden people think Inglewood, led by Damon Wrighster, is a bunch of thugs. And it's because of his own sister. That's what I'm trying to get at with the Wrighster wrong, is like these aren't just people in the crowd.
I'm still fine with it. I'm still fine with it. Because it was gonna be seen anyway. Like you can't hide this. It's almost like when I was at the Sierra Canyon game, and then Sierra Canyon's whole team falls out and fakes an injury. In response to Sarah faking injuries.
Incredible video. I'm glad I got to see it.
It was there's so many cameras, it was going to come out just because hers went viral or that one went viral. There were others. The game was being filmed for television. It was going to happen. So at least let somebody get the get the monetization for it.
All right, last up in Wrighster wrong, Pat Narduzzi. He got asked about Notre Dame, and he said, "I don't care if they beat us by 100."
I wanted Pitt to lose. I wanted Pitt to win. Actually, I didn't care if they won, but I wanted to see a really good game. I hope they do lose by 100 points. That's soft. It is. I don't care about the game. I only care about the ACC games. Like, it doesn't even matter. So why be like, Coach? Why are we even practicing then? If our goal is not to win this game, and if it doesn't really matter, why are we practicing?
I feel like I took it a little differently. I'm with you. I 100% understand where you're coming from. But it feels like there's this concentrated effort to assassinate Notre Dame. And Joey McGuire's in on it, and Dabo's in on it, and Pat Narduzzi apparently is in on it. He's never been afraid to speak his mind in one way or the other.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is the most hated team in America. And I've always understood that to be true, but it's a fresh hate. And this new fresh hate is fascinating to me. And so I didn't take it as soft. I took it as another like example of bitterness on the big pile of bitterness toward Notre Dame being outside of conference.
Yes. Ralph, Notre Dame's schedule gets banged on all the time, right? Okay, so their schedule's so weak. They're not in the conference. Okay, explain this to me then, Ralph. Does this sound like a weak schedule? Miami, Texas A&M, USC, and Pitt, who are all what? Currently ranked, including the number 3 team in the nation. Most teams don't do that. That have 4 currently ranked teams on their schedule? I don't think so. And then you add in, wait, let's find their FCS opponent. Hold on. There isn't one. Oh, okay. How many G5 opponents do they have? 2. Oh, just the one that went to the college football playoff last year and is a tough out for a lot of people in Boise State. And they play Navy. Damn, we can't say anything there. All right, then they play Syracuse, their rival Stanford, Boston College. Hey, tough win at a bottom feeder SEC team in Arkansas, where somebody else will get credit for that tough win. And then we got Purdue and NC State.
And if you'd let them, they'd have Michigan on there and anybody else who'd have them. I don't have it sometimes it's exhausting. I don't have any feelings about Notre Dame at all. They're not romantic to me. I don't care about Newt Rockne, but every complaint that everybody has about him, I also do not share. Outside of Jeremiah Love being Heisman candidate.
I loved Notre Dame, bro. Loved Notre Dame growing up with every inch of my body because it was Peter Warwick and there was Rocket Ismail. Those were my college football. Excuse me. There was Rocket Ismail, then there was Charlie Ward, and then there was Peter Warwick. In that order.
You know where Rocket's son played college football?
His son played? Or is it Kadri's son?
I think it was Rocket's son.
Where? Wyoming?
Right.
Oh,
Wyoming.
he did play at Wyoming. I forgot about that.
Yes, sir. And I was and you played for the Jacksonville Jaguars, so you get it. When the Jaguars and Carolina Panthers dropped when they first came onto the scene in the NFL, they kind of had a more modern, cooler logos, and a lot of people picked one or the other. And I loved the early Carolina Panthers and their Big Ten. And back then, I thought of Notre Dame as like a Big Ten school.
Yeah.
For some reason, because they played a bunch of Big Ten schools.
Yeah.
But Tim Biakabatuka from Michigan at running back, Kerry Collins from Penn State at quarterback, and then you had Rocket out there on the outside. I thought they were so awesome. So man, I've been a Rocket
3-point stance.
Well, dude, Notre Dame's always been fine with me. I don't care. They were on. It was always cool that they were on TV. I like that. ESPN should take note. People care when college football is on TV. Last thing, what are you looking forward to in the week ahead, George?
Oh, God. I am looking forward to Iowa USC. Lord, please let this game be amazing the way that I think and hope it will be. I need this to live up to all my hopes and dreams. I don't care about the outcome. I want to see what USC is really about. I want to see what is undoubtedly, because I talked to a USC commit last night. I was like, "Yo, you going to the game on Saturday?" He was like, "I don't know. It depends on the weather." I was like, "Do you think any of the fans are going to show up?" He was like, "Nah, it's raining." I was like, "Do you think that that's good?" He was like, "I mean, it's raining." I was like, "Did you watch the Oregon Iowa game?" He was like, "Yeah, but they live in Iowa." Said, "Did you watch the Wisconsin Washington game?" "Yeah, but they live in Wisconsin." I was like, you have to go there, right? And play against them. Yeah. I was like, "So they get a home field advantage and you don't?" He was like, "Dang, that is kind of whack." Like,
You
you
have been
have
accused
options.
quite a few times in the last week of being a USC hate watcher and for being the softest man in America for your take on their fake punt
Oh,
with
I got a tweet
former.
today. Ralph, I got a tweet today that said, he said, "Bro, you've been obsessed with USC since last week. What you wearing a LA hat to?" I was like, "I live in Los Angeles. I am Los Angeles." And he said, "Well, if you were, you wouldn't be hating like that." Hey, man, truth sounds like hate. And I'm also looking forward to Alabama getting beat by Oklahoma.
Well, hey, for the people who are convinced that you are the all-time USC hater, who is your college football goat?
Reggie Bush.
Yeah, interesting. Funny how that works.
It's
All right.
exactly funny how that works. It's USC. I just want their fans to be better. Like they deserve better. And the fact that I
Yeah.
call them out, it's out of respect. It's not out of hate. It's out of respect. They should demand more. Like, why am I demanding more out of USC fans than they demand out of themselves?
That's a good question. I think that we should allow them to think about it for a while. I will say that what I'm looking forward to this weekend is Ty Simpson going to get a test, buddy. You're going to get a test. This Oklahoma defense is for real.
They're winning.
This is for real. Like this is the film that you're
Yep.
gonna see Mel Kiper breaking down, Todd McShay breaking down, like Matt Miller. This is it, and Heisman moment maybe we'll see, but like there's a lot on the line, and you think Ty Simpson should maybe run it back. We're gonna see if Alabama fans even want him to run it back based on what Brent Venables is able to do in this game because Alabama can't run and Oklahoma wasn't going to let him anyway. So it is all Ty Simpson time. I
Yep.
could not be more excited to see what this is it. This is the challenge. And I want to see if he lives up to it. I'm kind of rooting for him, but whatever happens is going to be phenomenal. It's all good for us. It's all going to be fun to talk about.
Yep. 100%. All right. I'm George Wrighster. He is Ralph Amsden. This is the College Football Apostles. Catch you guys next week. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Adios.